Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Moonlight channel, a channel that advocates for kids who grew up in a certain way, difficulties, hardships. We coming here today. I'm your boy Moonlight. I have Elsie behind the scenes, who's going to ask me questions and who's going to actually take care of the whole technical realm of the whole show. She's gonna ask me questions. We didn't discuss those questions. I don't know what to expect, but we kind of designed the show that way just to be able to, allow people to view themselves in us, in order to be able to help them more with our initiative. Now, LC, take it back.
Now, my first question is, what is your level of education, and please be specific about your major for each level.
My education level so far, so I'm currently PhD. I wouldn't say candidate. I'm still a student because you become a candidate when you are actually done with the coursework and you are actually writing your dissertation, which I am, but I'm not that far. So I'm still a PhD student. I'm in my second year. Only have 1 year left, for me to take the next stage and focus on only my dissertation. So that's pretty much what my level of education is.
Where did you obtain your degree?
It depends on which one. As I said, I'm a PhD student. I haven't obtained my PhD degree so far, but I obtained my master's degree at the American Public University, APU, in Washington, D.C., and that's where actually I'm studying for my PhD. My master's was in international relations and conflict resolution with concentration on international and transnational security issues. My bachelor, I studied translation and interpretation in the Department of English at the National University of Rwanda in Africa.
Now, what's the difference between African education and US education? Talking from your experience, what's the difference?
Speaking from my experience, I would say back then when I was still the National University, our education was pretty amazing, pretty positive. It was such a great university that had challenging yet rewarding programs, to the point that even when I came here to the US, I didn't have to take any additional classes in order to qualify for the equivalent bachelor degree in the US. The only thing that took place was the evaluation. There are many agencies that evaluate your degrees here, and based on the type of university you attended, or classes that you took, or credits that you took, they give you the equivalent of the US degree that you can use to either continue your education or for your career if you're applying for a job.
When you were a kid, did you think you would eventually achieve this level of education? And if yes, tell us why.
That is a great question. When I was a kid, I was a smart kid, even though I knew that I really was bad at math. But I was a smart kid, even though I wasn't like privileged, or I didn't have have a tutor. I didn't even know that, I could just, go over my notes, after school, or have any extracurricular programs to, give me advantage. But I always knew that I was gonna study. I love studying, but of course, nothing is guaranteed in life. I never knew that I was gonna be here today. Especially pursuing my PhD right now, or professionally being where I am right now. But I always knew that I was gonna be somebody. I didn't know how, but I always had that self-confidence. Even though there'll be moments, all those hopes will be doubted, but I always knew I was gonna be somebody.
What made you determined to achieve higher learning despite your complicated childhood you experienced, as you mentioned in your previous videos?
I think the very point you just mentioned, complicated childhood, hardship, and the fact that I wasn't privileged, or I wasn't, this kid who had everything. I think all those points make me want to succeed in life and change my life. Because as a kid, I would observe other kids having everything, having parents, having extra support after school, parents coming to school to support them or to attend their games and everything. So all this lack of support made me determined to kind of close that gap, if you will, to kind of, because at that point I started realizing that the only way to move forward was gonna be just relying on myself.
Now, would you say that you'll be where you are now without the education that you have?
I'm not exactly sure what I will be without my education, but I like where I am today.
So you say education was a huge part of where you are right now?
Absolutely, because I didn't have any other help. I didn't have any other support. I didn't have any inheritance. I didn't have any other, rich opportunities that I will count on in order to be successful. The only opportunity I had was investing myself in education, being focused and disciplined. Hopefully, I thought that would work. It doesn't always work that way depending on what kind of environment you grow up in. But that is definitely something that I've always tried to cherish as my investment in terms of future achievements.
Why did you choose your major in all the degrees you completed? Was it because you thought those would be more beneficial to you more than the others, or was it simply because those were the ones you were good at, or only the ones available to you back then?
Wow. All right. Let's start maybe in high school. It varies because there are certain moments or certain extents where I chose certain subjects or majors along the way, because there were either the ones that were available, or there were the ones that were I was good at, or the ones I thought maybe if I studied those, then I would be able to get into a different program that was going to favor me as a candidate, professionally, along the way. So starting with high school, I studied arts. You know, if you study arts, you know, for those who know what the Rwandan system is, you study arts, that means most likely it's going to include mainly languages, English, Kinyarwanda, Swahili, and French. I'm not sure if they included other languages now, but we also had topics such as geography, history, things like that. So I chose that because mainly I wanted to get away from math. I didn't want anything to do with math. But at the same time, I was good with languages, so I felt pretty comfortable with choosing that path in high school because eventually I wanted to learn languages or something related to that, at the university. So for my bachelor's, I chose English department because obviously I had previously studied English in high school or even languages in general. And my plan was to study in a translation and interpretation because I wanted to, be a linguist by profession. Working for, agencies or, public or private sectors. So at the master's level, I studied international relations and conflict resolutions because I've always wanted to be a diplomat. Curiously, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm not sure if that was, some kind of destiny, but that's what happened. Curiously, it worked out. It ended up working out. I'm a diplomat. That's what I'm doing, as a career. So it was kind of involving me choosing a path because it was the easiest to, compared to others that were available at the time. But at the same time, as I grew up, I learned how to choose for myself, and I learned how to do certain things that would potentially lead me towards a career that I've always wanted, even though I didn't know it was gonna work out that way.
What was the least favorite subject in your high school and why?
As I mentioned before, I wasn't good at math at all, and it's no secret, I'm still not good at math. So other than being able to count, do addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, please don't tell me anything about algebra or probability or whatever. I can do certain things, but I'm not an expert. That's pretty much what was my least favorite subject in high school. Actually, in my life, simple as that.
Would you say you were a smart kid in school growing up?
Yes, I was a smart kid, but I didn't know about it. I was a smart kid because I didn't know about it because I would go to school and I've always been second. God knows, what I would have been if, I was good at math. So I've always come second, and I was smart, but I didn't know that, because I was a kid, obviously, and I didn't have that support where after school, you have after school activities where, they bring a tutor in and they help you with math, certain subjects that you don't understand, or even those that you understand, but just to even get, better. I didn't have that support. So I kind of didn't know that. And I doubt that my grandma knew that either because she didn't know how to read. But at least she was the one that put me in school.